So what are we looking for in a heavy mech? That's what we're going to explore in this vlog, building that checklist to help us analyze all of the awesome mechs that are out there. Trying to find that mech that is not only going to match your play style, but give you a lot of different options, a lot of different lance builds. And this has always been the focus for me, Battletech, being able to experience the most out of my miniature collection. And as it grows, being able to have different combinations, both inside and outside of the favorite machines, the usual stuff that I like to play. So let's jump in. Heavy mechs. Now we've got some tonnage. We've got some bite. Previously up to the archive here under the Battletech playlist. Last week we explored medium and light mechs. And of course, we're going to look at assault mechs and jump into some vehicles. But now that we have some tonnage, naturally, I want everything. I want speed. I want armor. I want big guns. I want novelty. I want killer mechs, right? There's this idea that we can really do a lot with the tonnage, a lot with heavy mechs. But like everything in Battletech, there are limitations based on the weight class, but also at a certain tonnage level, there is an expectation, and I'm not just talking about battle value and C-bills, there is an expectation that this machine is going to fill. And speaking about C-bills or battle value, you're paying some sort of currency, you're paying some sort of points to get that on the table. It needs to be earning those points out there, earning every single turn. Because in an average size Battletech game, well, what's an average size Battletech game? I can only speak for where I play in my group, about 5K inner sphere. Clans, it's a little bit more. 5K for clans is like 2 mechs, right? Okay, maybe 3. But on an average battle value game, a heavy mech is a significant resource, a significant investment. And that's before we jump into the narrative with how rare some of these machines or how valuable some of these machines are. So the first thing I'm looking at armor. What I mean by that is I want a decent amount of armor for this machine to be in the fight for a while. It's going to be mounting a good array of weapons that I'm going to look to utilize. And in utilizing them, I'm going to be a little bit aggressive with it. I'm going to have to get up there and mix things up. Now, yes, I'm going to work with combined arms, infantry support. Yes, I'm going to use cover. Yes, I'm going to try to stick at the optimal range for that mech. I mean, I'm not just going to charge forward. I'm going to try and do the best I can to minimize return fire, but I need some armor to soak stuff up because I'm going to be shooting for a couple of turns. So I don't want an under-armored heavy mech. Fritz, you love the Rifleman. I do. There are always personal machines that we like for various reasons that kind of break this checklist. So in that case, I have to be hyper aware. If we're talking about the Rifleman, I have to be hyper aware of that with how I utilize it. Because just going in on the first bullet point on this list, checkpoint on this checklist, if armor is subpar, how am I going to utilize those weapons? So second, of course, the guns, the weapons. Now we've got some tonnage. So we see mounting 2 heavier primary weapons. We see this with the Marauder. We see this with the Warhammer, or we see this with the T-Bolt, with the large laser, and PPCs on the other. We see tonnage where there's a wide variety of medium kind of workhorse weapons, SRM packs, medium lasers. You also might start seeing some autocannons in lieu of the PPCs. We also see some close-in work, either geared towards infantry or going against support vehicles, being able to engage a wide variety of targets, or just getting close and blasting with everything. So again, you'll see smaller SRM packs, you'll see machine guns, you'll see flamers, you'll see small lasers. So really a wide variety mounting in multiples on a heavy mech. So with that, I'm looking at to have something, I'm trying to think how to capture this, of course, right? I am looking at mechs that will be able to operate at multiple ranges with multiple options on there, because we talk about this idea of redundancy in Battletech. 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is some. You're going to be running around, you've got cover, you're shooting at me, you're doing what you got to do, I'm doing what I got to do. Just firing one PPC, what are the odds? Never tell me the odds. I fire two PPCs, it has a greater chance of just hitting. And seeing how, here's another reason why redundancy is important. Having multiple weapons of the same type or at least the same range band. Occasionally you will catch your opponent what I call flat-footed, right? D&D reference there. Meaning, for whatever reason, I beat you in the initiative, you did something unexpected, or you had to pause for a moment because like the mission is, I need to be here and pick this up, so I don't move. What I'm saying is that moment in the game where like your mech is just hanging out. I'm at perfect range. I'm at beautiful range. You have no movement modifiers. I've got a great facing, might even be rear armor. I need to take that shot. If I have two PPCs and an autocannon to blast you, that could be a game changer. That really could. So having multiple weapons at different range bands or the same range band at least means if we're at long range and I'm shooting, I might tag you. But if I can catch you flat-footed, then I'm going to take that shot and we're going to try and zap you, blast you, burn you, blow you up, whatever it's going to be. But also I want to see some heavy mechs that work at a preferred range. So a preferred range would mean a long range or a medium range or a short range where once they get there, they've got the armor, they've got the weapons that they can have some sustained fire for a couple of turns and really blast you. So an example, if I pull one of my favorite machines, the Warhammer, and we'll talk about heat finally, because this is important. Not that you can't dismiss heat in mediums, but things get really interesting with heavies and you could find yourself in trouble based on the expected role of heavy machines. With the Warhammer, I've got those PPCs at long range, but I'm going to be kind of moving up. I'm going to be kind of aggressive. When I get to that medium or short range, and now I'm bringing in the lasers and I'm bringing in the missiles, that's where I want to be and just soak you. So utilizing that understanding. Okay, heat. Well, a lot of weapons, a lot of heat. I need to be mindful of the heat. Now, personally, on the table, I tend to push the heat. I really want to blast you. I play very aggressive on the table, right? Utilizing combined arms. We get in there, we do what we got to do. We get the C-bills, we get out. I do tend to run hot. I do tend to push the dice, right? The dice are the dice, man. I'll roll it. I'll do it. So from that perspective, I am hyper aware that a lot of these inner sphere, going back to battle droids, a lot of these inner sphere heavy mechs, they're going to run hot. And you're saying, well, Fritz, you're like a new player. You're like, Fritz, they've got these weapons. I'm utilizing them, but I can't be blasting every single turn. I'm going to run hot. I'm going to start racking up modifiers to hit, to move. Might have to face a shutdown. And if things cook off, what do I do? And if I do shut down, how does that work? Well, you really have to work on heat management. If you're going to push it, you're aware. Heat management, I've pushed that up to the archive here on the Battletech playlist on the channel, but basically trying to understand the best you can of the range around you. So going back to this Marauder / Warhammer, if I've got a Marauder and I'm parked somewhere nice and you're far enough away, I'll blast you with the two PPCs. I'll blast you with that autocannon. Then next turn, maybe I'll do one PPC autocannon or one PPC, bring the heat down. When we get closer, if you start closing in on me, you've got a lance closing in on me, then I'm just really watching my heat because I can't blast off 2 turns, build heat. Your whole lance is on top of me, and now I'm in trouble because I've got to clear heat for a turn or two, and I'm eating everything in that turn or two. So heat management is very, very important. There are a couple of machines at this weight level, at this class, at this tonnage, that heat is not an issue. Check out the tech manual, right? Because based on the weapons loadout, their profile, their weapons, they don't run hot, or you really, really have to push things. But I would say that's more of a rarity at this level. And then, of course, jump jets. I put jump jets last on the list because once you get into the heavy and assault range, they're nice. I mean, primarily your way of moving is running. Never going to say no to jump jets, but what do I cut out in the tonnage to get those jump jets, and what am I really accomplishing? I view them, I want to mount them on a novelty mech. I want to mount them on a lulz mech where it's something very, very specialized or something very expected for that. But as a general type brawler / trooper mech, and I pushed up trooper mechs to the channel last week, I don't think jump jets are necessary. But I'll leave that last piece open to my fellow mech warriors in the comments.